This video will be helping you be able to solve for y. In this first equation we have it written in standard form and we need to get it in slope-intercept form. So the first thing I'll do is draw a dotted line right here. I need to get y right here by itself. On the same side of the equal sign is the 2x. To move it to the other side, I need to do the opposite, and I will subtract 2x from each side. Once I do this, this equals 0, and I get y equals negative 2x plus 8. Now it is in slope-intercept form. Remember, this number right here without the x is the y-intercept. This number here in front of the x is the slope. My line will be decreasing because the slope is negative. There's the next problem. If I were you, I would pause the video and I would try and solve for y. Right here I draw a line at the equal sign to balance my equation. I will add x to each side. I get y equals x plus 6. There is my equation in slope-intercept. The slope is represented by m. Y equals mx plus b. M is the number in front of x. M is 1 if there's not a number there because that means 1x. B is 6 or 0,6 for the y-intercept. There's the next one. If you want to pause and solve for y, I will draw my dotted line here. I need to get y by itself, so I'm going to move the 2x and I'll subtract 2x from each side. Once I've done this, this makes 0. I get y equals negative 2x minus 8. I can also write it as y equals negative 8 minus 2x. Either way is correct, just depending on what you would like to, or how you would like to write it. Next one, I would solve for y and pause it. Right here, I need to get y by itself. I'm going to move the 7x first. I'm going to subtract 7x from each side. Once I do that, I get 14y equals negative 7x plus 28. Right here, my y is not by itself yet. I need to divide by 14. And I get y equals negative 7 over 14 is negative 1/2 x. 28 divided by 14 is 2. My slope is negative 1/2. My y-intercept is 0, 2. The next problem, I would have you solve for y and pause it, and then come back and see how you did. Right here, I'm going to move the 2x to the other side. This time it's a negative 2x, so I'm going to add 2x to each side. And as I rewrite it, I get 2y equals 2x plus 8. I'm sorry, that should be minus 8. I divide by 2 to each side. I get y equals 1x minus 4. Slope being 1, y-intercept being negative 4. And the next one. Again, solve, pause it and solve, and then check your answers. Right here, you should have subtracted x from each side. You get 4y equals negative x minus 16. You're going to divide by 4. You get y equals, that's a negative 1 right here, so that's a negative 1/4 x minus 4. We have 3 more problems. Here's the next one. If you notice on this one, everything is on the left-hand side, which is fine. We just need to move everything bit by bit. First, I will move the 8 to the other side by subtracting 8. I get 8x minus y equals negative 8. I will subtract 8x from each side. I get negative y equals negative 8x minus 8. Don't forget that negative. That's normally what people forget. Next, though, my y cannot be negative, so I need to divide by negative 1, and I get y equals 8x plus 8. The next problem, go ahead and solve, and then come back and check. I add 24 to each side. I get 6x plus 12y equals 24. I will subtract 6x from each side. These cancel. I get 12y equals negative 6x plus 24. I will divide by 12. And I get y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. Okay, the very last one is right here. First thing I'll go and do is add 6 to each side. I get x minus y equals 6. I will subtract x from each side. Negative y equals negative x plus 6. Again, y cannot be negative, so I'll divide by negative 1. And you should have gotten y equals positive 1x, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Positive divided by a negative is a negative, so it's negative 6.